You blocked me on Facebook, and now you're going to die.
Alright guys, today we're just going to be going over another top 10 video. Well, my last one wasn't quite a top 10, but we're going to be going over a top 10 video today over just Cydia applications strictly. Maybe in some future videos we'll go over some other apps that involve just, additions to SB settings, Springboard, things like that, and some themes. I'm not really going to go into App Store apps just because they're kind of worthless for this. I'm going over Cydia stuff, not at all what Apple implements. So let's just get this started here. I'm going to go ahead and start off by showing you guys a good application. So these are all my Cydia apps that aren't in my settings. I put them in one place so they're nice and organized. And we're going to start off with ifile. Now before I start, what ifile does is ifile is actually a file management system for your iPhone. And most other like Android operating systems and stuff implemented this, but iPhone's actually the one that hasn't. Oddly, so and this is extremely powerful, great tool. You can go into all your application files, you can manage everything. I mean, there's tons of files, but if you hit your home button here, that'll take me back to this screen, and this is basically your VAR mobile. So this is all of the stuff you're mainly going to be dealing with, and if you need to go into some other stuff, you can go back and whatnot, and there's tons of stuff, lots of different settings there. So like I said, the applications, you can see all of my apps here, and all the app settings and things. The good thing about this is if you have something like I have iDoser, and you can actually go into the application files and unlock some of the locked in-app things that are supposed to be paid for in-app. So that's good. We go back, as I say, if you have install this, you can go to your let's see here what we can find. So if you go to your download section here, you can actually put files in here if you do a Wi-Fi broadcast or anything like that, or via USB or however you want to do it with your computer linked to your phone. When you put files over here, you can go into your management system, of course, with ifile, and put them in here. So say if you have an application, you put it in your downloads folder, and then if I go back home here for a second, I'll show you. But then if you go into your install this application, which I am actually having a hard time finding right now, apologize about that. Okay, so install this, I guess I just recently did an update, and I'm guessing that it didn't fully install, so I have to go into that later. But I'm going to go back into ifile, but you can put your files in here, go into install this, and they'll show up right in there, and then you can install them from there. If you don't want to do that in install this, and you want to do it just directly from ifile, you can also do that. Go back to your home here, and this isn't your root, but if you go to this mobile section here and drop files right in here, you can actually click them, and within ifile you can install them directly. The only problem is I'm not exactly sure how the uninstallation process goes. I believe it's the same as just deleting an application regularly. Okay, so the next app up here on the list, number 2, is going to be Barrel, and actually it's showing right now, so that's the great thing about it. I just show you whenever I switch my app pages here, you can see that there's a nice animation on that, and this is just the one that I've selected by default, but I'll show you some of the other things you can do. So I'm going to go back into my Cydia applications and open up Barrel here, and when I click on Barrel, you can see that there's a lot of different modes. Folder enhancer. I think that with some of these, the folders don't quite go with the animations quite well, so you do this, and this is a new option. This used to not be in here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on mode, and I'll show you all the things you can do. You can do normal, random. Of course, random's cool. As you go, they change, and it looks kind of nice, but for me it's a little too crazy, so I like to stick with one. But you can do cube inside, and if I go show you, it'll give it kind of, you see that little 3D look to it? That's the cube, which is a lot of people's favorites, but there's a lot of different options in there. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my curl and roll away, and it'll roll these, and the apps look like that. So that's Barrel. Good application. The next one up here that I'd like to go over, and I feel like it's really important if you really are an advanced jailbreaker and you do a lot of jailbreaks and you move firmwares a lot, you know that when you re-jailbreak, you typically, and this has been out for a while, but before you'd have to go and actually install all of your Cydia apps and tweaks and sources all over again, and it took forever. Really, the process was just intense. On top of having to get all of your music files and everything onto your phone. You know, this just made it really just a lot more extensive. So if we open up here, this application is called xbackup, and if I click on it, you can see it's real simple. You can do a local backup. Sorry if this is not focusing correctly, guys. Having a little bit of issues here. There it is. So yeah, you can see it's a simple backup, and I'm not going to back up because I already have a backup. There's no need to, but it'll replace the file every time in ifile, and I'll show you. You can whenever you back up your phone to your computer, it should bring the file over. But just for security reasons, I like to actually go to ifile, find the file, and email it to myself, so I can do it directly like that. I found it to not work once with the backup, so I prefer to do this. And in order to restore, once you've restored or actually updated your firmware, you can go back into here, go to restore after you've went to your email and moved the file to the appropriate location, which I'll show you how to do. You can press restore. So to put that file actually in the correct location, we're going to go back into iFile. If you emailed it to yourself, you can open it directly in here, and then you can cut, which means that it'll take it from its location and move it all together, not copy. You're going to want to go to, sorry about that, guys. We're going to go to library, and there's xbackup. So you go into your backups, and you're going to move that file directly in here, and then it'll be the backup bkzip. You can see the date that it was made, so if you need to do it again, you can do that. But once it's in there, you just go directly back into your xbackup application and click restore, and that'll restore you. It'll start actually, it's really handy. It'll add all your sources, all of your packages, and everything that have been backed up. So that's real nice. Another thing I'd like to go over with you guys that's real important is Pandora Downloader. A lot of the times you'd have to get a tweak for unlimited skips and things like that, but what this does is if you go into the settings, you can see that it does give you unlimited skips, no ads, no nothing, and it's really handy. You do have to have this open and running while Pandora is running, but you can go to your downloads here, and this will show everything that's queuing, and if I go to my music, this will actually be the library of music in here. I'm going to go into a little bit later on what you can do about moving these music files directly to your library from another application, but right now I'm just going to show you how to do this so you can get started, and that'll be in a future video. And that's it for that. The next one I'd like to go over that I think is really important that a lot of people need to know about is icleaner. So icleaner actually cleans up your phone by far a lot. Whenever I first did it after not doing it for a long time, actually cleared up about over 300 megabytes, and this is just the basic stuff. Safari is unchecked by default so that you save all your history and everything, which is great. You don't have to worry about losing your passwords that are saved and stuff. And you have two options here. You can analyze and clean. So if you want to actually analyze and see what you'll get out of it before you go and do that, you can do that on analyze. And then if you want to go ahead and clean, you can click clean, and it'll start the process of cleaning. These are just the default settings, and I prefer to stay with them. That's just me. You can go to look through them and kind of do some different things. But to keep this video short, I'm just going to go ahead and move on. So if you go to the plus section here, you can actually remove languages, Siri languages, or just languages that are in your phone altogether. Remember that if you are using an emoji, you can go and select all, but I recommend just checking Japanese, so that'll keep your emoji there. I'm going to go back. And then and you go through these each, and it'll remove them. So test mode is advised. Do you want to continue? No, I'm not going to because it takes forever. But you can do a test mode to where it'll actually, same thing as analyze, basically show you what it's going to remove. The languages take up a lot of space, so this is where I would recommend starting here. But that's it for icleaner. Alright, and then the next one I think is important is terminal. So you open this up, and this can be downloaded in Cydia via whatever repo. I'm not sure. You can Google that. But if you go here, you can actually give your phone commands. If you have terminal packages, you can easily run those directly from here to do whatever you need. It's just great, so you can kind of run your phone and everything. I think it's a handy tool to have. And that's it for terminal. Real simple. The next one that I think is pretty interesting that I go into a lot is batteryinfo lite. There is a batteryinfo regular, a little bit more options. It is a paid application, which I am not willing to use. I just need a little bit of info, but it really does give you a lot of information on your cycle counts, your design capacity, how much it's actually, the capacity is now, and the current. What this is good for is if you had an iPhone for a while, you can actually kind kind of manage your battery data here, so you know if you need to replace your battery or not, which I recommend after about 2.5 years. It may not seem like it, but your phone loses about 20 or 30% of its capacity, so that can actually make a bigger difference than you think. And that's it for battery info. The next thing I think you guys would be pretty interested in is if I go to my settings here, I'll show you what it is, and this is another one that can be downloaded in in Cydia, but is AppSent. It's really easy, real simple tool. You just enable it, and what it'll do is, as I update my applications through the App Store, say if I wish I had a way to show you this right now. I'm sorry, you guys. But if you see Netflix here, instead of showing just a regular bar under it, it's going to go ahead and show you a percentage as well as the bar. So that's really handy. I think it's definitely useful. I don't know why. It's just kind of an interesting tweak for me. And that's it for AppSent. The next one I think you guys would be interested in is if I go back to my settings here. I'm going to show you just what you need here. Alright, so if we go to Bulliten, that's the next one. It'll actually allow you to, and I'll give you an example here. So if I lock my screen, go back to unlock here and swipe down. From default, Apple does not let you access your notifications via the lock screen, which can be really handy. Instead of having to unlock your device and do all that stuff, I think it's just handy. Simply, and I'll give you one reason why here. If I go over the little flash icon to activate my flash from NC settings, which I went over in a previous video, it's just a simple way to access your flash and things like that. If you need a flashlight, it's much more handy than having to go into an application, unlock all that stuff. But there's a lot of different options here. You can make your you can make directly in outside of the lock screen. Transparent, you can make all that stuff. You can make your notifications transparent, that is, sorry about that. You can also change your background, enable transparencies, blurs, things like that. There's a lot of different options. Great app for your notifications, and covers a lot of things real simply instead of having to download bigger apps to do a lot of things that you really aren't going to end up doing. And that's it for Bulliten. And the very last one that I'd like to go over with you guys is cydelete. And the reason why I'm saving this for last is typically because it's kind of the best. As we all know, I mean, there's a couple settings you can change in Cydia to make it quicker, but all in all, Cydia is a very slow application, and we don't want to deal with that. So you can see there's a protected app. It won't let you delete Cydia itself, but anything you've downloaded via Cydia, you can directly delete just like a normal app. So these are all Cydia apps. Every one of these are downloaded from Cydia, and as you can see, Cydia is not deletable. So that's really good. It's just really handy. So instead of having to go all the way into Cydia and delete and load and take you 3 or 4 times as long, you can just directly from your home screen delete your applications, which I think is great. And that's actually going to conclude this video. I went over my top 10 here, and you guys can keep up with my videos, watch some more, comment, subscribe. Whatever you guys give me is going to be just more fuel for more videos. So please watch, comment, subscribe, anything, like, and just let me know what you think and what future videos I should go over.
You blocked me on Facebook, and now you're going to die.